The Colosseum of your mind. On one side, your reason, your calm, the person you aspire to be. On the other, a beast of blind rage, of paralyzing fear, of uncontrolled panic. And in the heat of the moment, an argument, a crisis, a provocation, the gate opens, and almost always the beast wins. It takes control, and you, the real you, become a terrified spectator, watching yourself destroy relationships, burn opportunities, and act in a way you will later be deeply ashamed of. This loss of control is the source of our greatest regrets. But what if I told you that the men who faced real death on the sands of the Colosseum, the gladiators, used a philosophy to tame this inner beast? That the principles of Stoicism were a mental training not just for philosophers, but for warriors who needed unshakable calm under maximum pressure. The title of this video promises to teach you this, the secret to never losing control again. This is not an emotion. It is a protocol, a three-step battle plan forged in Stoicism that you can activate in the heat of the moment to ensure that your reason, not your beast, emerges victorious. Before we enter the arena, go to the comments and tell me which beast is more dangerous for you, anger or fear. Let the training begin. The great lesson of the Stoics, from Epictetus to Marcus Aurelius, is that there is a space, a tiny, split-second space between what happens in the world and how we respond to it. The ancients called what happens an impression. An insult is an impression. Bad news is an impression. The sight of a lion in the arena is an impression. Losing control is what happens when we react to this impression automatically without using the power of reason we were given. The training of the Stoic gladiator is about mastering this space. The this that you need to do is a three-phase combat protocol. Stop, see, act. Step 1. Stop, the shield of perception. The first phase, the first move in the heat of the moment, is the most crucial and the most difficult. It is the act of stopping the impulse. The inner beast feeds on speed. Anger explodes, fear paralyzes. Your first task is to rob it of this speed. The gladiator's training. Do this. The instant the emotional trigger is pulled, the word that offends you, the news that scares you, your first and only mental command must be a guttural order. Stop or hold. Physically, this means shutting your mouth, taking a deep breath from your diaphragm, feeling your feet on the ground. It is the act of planting your spear in the sand of the arena, not to attack but to create an anchor. You don't advance, you don't retreat, you hold your ground. This act of stopping is what separates the warrior from the animal. The animal reacts, the warrior responds. This pause, however brief, is an act of supreme power. It is you saying to your primitive mind, "I have heard you, but I am in command now." This is the moment you pull the reins on a spooked horse, preventing it from launching itself over a cliff. You haven't won the battle yet, but you have prevented an immediate and catastrophic defeat. You have created the space. Step 2. See. The blade of objective analysis. With the initial impulse contained by your pause, you now use the space you've created to see clearly. The beast of emotion is blind. It doesn't see reality. It sees the story that fear and ego tell it. Your second task is to become a cold, analytical observer of the battlefield. The gladiator's training. Do this. In the space you've created, look at the threat and describe it to yourself objectively, as if you were a scout reporting facts to your general. See the event stripped of all drama and judgment. What actually happened? Not "my boss humiliated me and my career is over," but rather, "my boss raised his voice and pointed out 3 errors in my report." Not "I'm ruined, I'm going to lose everything," but "the stock market fell 10% today." A gladiator in the arena doesn't think, "Oh gods, an invincible monster with a net is going to kill me." He thinks, "A medium-sized opponent armed with a net and a trident, is circling to my left, exposing his right flank. The first description leads to panic and death. The second leads to strategy and survival. Marcus Aurelius practiced this relentlessly, calling it objective representation. By cleaning the lens of your perception, removing the dirt of your emotional interpretation, you see the threat at its actual size, not the giant size your fear projects. And a problem seen clearly is a problem half solved. Step 3. Act, the trident of virtuous action. You have stopped the impulse. You have seen reality with clarity. Now, and only now, do you act. But your action is no longer a blind reaction. It is a deliberate response, chosen from your rational center and your deepest values. The gladiator's training, do this. With the objective analysis in hand, the final question the Stoic warrior asks himself is, what is the virtuous action here? What do courage, justice, wisdom, and self-control demand of me now? The answer to this question becomes your marching order. Your boss raised his voice. The beast of anger wants you to yell back. The beast of fear wants you to shrink and apologize. What does your reason, your virtuous side, demand? Perhaps the courage to say calmly, I understand your frustration. We can discuss this productively when we are both calmer. Or perhaps the wisdom to remain silent, correct the errors, and address his behavior at a more appropriate time. The virtuous action is not always the same, but it is never the first impulsive reaction of your inner beast. A gladiator didn't win the crowd's respect just by killing, but by how he fought, with skill, with bravery, with honor. You win in the heat of the moment, not by destroying your opponent, but by keeping your own character intact and acting in the most effective and honorable way possible. The secret to never losing control again is not the absence of emotions. It is the presence of a system. It is having a battle protocol so well trained that it becomes second nature in the heat of the moment. This you need to do is the training of the Stoic gladiator. The 3-step protocol. Stop. Hold the impulse. Create the space. See, analyze the situation objectively without drama. Act. Choose the response that serves your highest self. The beast you most need to defeat is not on the other side of the arena. It lives inside you. It is your own uncontrolled impulse. The Stoic training doesn't teach you to kill it, but to tame it, to transform it from your master into your servant, using its strength, but guided by your wisdom. Now go back to your comment, anger or fear. Reply to it with the word arena. It is your acknowledgement that from this day forward, every challenge, every moment of pressure is not a threat, but a training opportunity. If this combat protocol has prepared you for battle, subscribe to the channel.